Introducing PypeServer Lyte version 1.3. Since its release, PypeServer Lyte has gotten the attention of many contractors on the cutting edge of fabrication. We've had productive conversations about workflows and features and are excited to share some major upgrades to our already very powerful software. We'll talk today about PypeServer Lyte's ability to better manage cut lists and material by demonstrating bundling options and defect handling. We'll talk about our improved material handling with label printing for drops and remnants. We'll talk about our new integration with Kentucky gauge positioners, along with updates that will apply to all of the material positioners we support, such as Tiger Stop, Razor Gauge, and Scotchman RG-powered saws. And lastly, we'll talk about the updated display options of PypeServer Lyte with custom column headers and new security features. If this is your first time seeing PypeServer Lyte, then it's probably a good idea to watch the previous videos, which will be linked below. In short, PypeServer Lyte is a cut list management software that communicates with all major fabrication platforms such as M-Suite, GTP Stratus, and PypeServer Cloud. It also accepts cut lists from major fabrication desktop softwares such as PypeServer Connect, Evolve Mechanical, SysQ, and Victaulic tools. With these cut lists, PypeServer Lyte can control multiple material positioner manufacturers such as Tiger Stop, Razor Gauge, and now Kentucky gauge positioners. Finally, automated cut sequences can be configured with enhanced label printing. There's so much more to talk about, but today we'll focus on just the new features you'll find in PypeServer Lyte version 1.3. So let's dive right in. For larger cut lists of repeated lengths, you may find that bundling your material saves a significant amount of time on the cut table. PypeServer Lyte offers a few different bundling options. If we open the Load Stock window in the upper left, you can tell PypeServer Lyte how many items are in your bundle, and PypeServer Lyte will tell you if that kind of bundling is even possible with your current cut list. So if I tried to bundle 3 here, it tells me I have 7 stock pieces and 40 inches of waste. If I tried to bundle 6 or maybe 7, it'll tell me the bundling of 7 was not possible, meaning there's not 7 of the same instance of cut lengths in my cut list. Additionally, you can have PypeServer Lyte calculate the most efficient way to bundle your material with the Optimize button. Now in this case, optimization told me that a bundle size of 1 is the most efficient way to do this. Now keep in mind, it's considering the number of stock pieces and the length of the waste, not so much the time saved when you optimize by bundling. For the sake of the demo, I'm going to set it at 3. And let's take a look at our cut list. Now by default, bundled items will be displayed first in your cut list with a bold notification in the group header row. All items that were not able to be bundled with your chosen bundle size will be displayed below as single cuts nested on individual material lengths. So in this case, I was able to bundle the first 5 cuts on 3 pieces of material, and the rest of the cut list are all singles. Now there's more options under settings when it comes to bundling. If you'd like to reverse the way that bundled stock is displayed, starting with single cuts, ending with bundled cuts, you can use this toggle here on the right. You can also enable variable bundling, which will use your selected bundle size as a maximum value, thus enabling bundle sizes of the values in between. So for example, if I turn this on and click on Save, I'll reset my stock. I'll bundle using the same bundle size. And now it finds that it can bundle 2 stock pieces on some of the items to save some cuts. Now let's reset our bundling so we can talk about defect handling. Now often you may find imperfections in the material you're cutting. This is especially true when cutting natural materials such as lumber. There are areas you'd like to avoid while cutting. So PypeServer Lyte now offers the ability to enter in the defect area of your material. Just open the Tools menu with the Show Tools button on the right-hand side and click on Add Defect. Now we'll just enter in the measurement of the defect. Let's say 16 inches, and let's say the defect is 2 inches long. PypeServer Lyte will automatically nest existing cut items around this defect, keeping the material waste to a minimum. Now we can enter as many defects as we like here. Let's say there's one at 24 inches that is 1 inch long. These areas can be cut out and avoided while PypeServer Lyte fills the spaces between with items from your cut list. Use the existing tools to remove the defects if necessary. New with PypeServer Lyte version 1.3 is the ability to print labels for your remaining length of stock pieces. You'll find as you get to the end of a cut list, there's just more drop or leftover material. This material is often called scrap, but in this case, it's still usable for future cut lists. We've added the ability to print labels for cutoff materials that exceed a user-defined threshold. And in our settings menu, under Print Settings, we'll enable the printing of scrap labels right here. We have a specific label template that we can customize just for these types of labels. And then we set a threshold that will trigger the printing of these labels. In this case, I'll say 10 inches. I'll save my settings. Now I have a cut list already loaded that we can use that will show what this looks like in action. So in this case, I only have one cut item that will fit on this length of stock. This one here is 22 inches, but it leaves a scrap of just a little over 11 inches. So in this case, I want to see a label get printed for the valid cut item and then again for the stock. So I'll show my printer in the background, and then we'll see what this looks like. So I'll move to position. I'll initiate the cut sequence. Now here's the label for the item in my cut list, and then here's the label that will get printed for the scrap. Now this extra piece of material can get filed away and put back onto the rack to use in a future job. Some big news with the upgrades for PypeServer Lyte version 1.3 is our integration with Kentucky Gauge positioners. Now, we've worked closely with the team at Kentucky Gauge to integrate the features of PypeServer Lyte into their positioners. PypeServer Lyte will now work seamlessly with Kentucky Gauge positioners in the same manner that we've always worked with TigerStop and Razor Gauge positioners. Features such as the automated cut cycle, the utilization of the cut switch, and all modes for retraction are now available for all supported machine types. Now if I make my way back into our settings menu, we can talk a bit about the upgrades we've made to material positioner retraction. Now we've mentioned this before in previous videos that it's fairly common for certain materials to require extra space while cutting to allow for movement. This protects the material positioner and the saw blade. Now to allow that space, we have a whole section under material positioner settings for retraction. So new in version 1.3 are different modes for retracting a pusher. Our first mode here is as operation. And what this does is it prompts the user between the move and the cut operation to actually consciously click the button for retraction. Now this comes in handy when there's more to the operation of cutting, such as a chain snapper, where the operator needs to get in there and set that chain up. And we don't want to move the positioner automatically while the operator is setting up. And as configured here, the retraction distance would be 2 inches. Another retraction mode that we have in here is on cut switch. This mode will tell PypeServer Lyte to wait for the limit switch connected to your positioner to be engaged and then disengaged before retracting. And finally, our original mode is called on timer. And this will automate the retraction based on the number of seconds that you've entered into this field. Now for all retraction modes, we've implemented a new option called back off distance. This length represents the area where the position may come in contact with other physical barriers such as clamps or saw motors. PypeServer Lyte will position your material to the requested length, and if the length falls below the back off distance from the saw, Lyte will back up to what the user has defined in back off distance instead of the retraction distance. So if I were to set this to 12 inches, and my last cut piece on a stock length falls beneath 12 inches, let's say it's a 6-inch piece that we're going to cut, the positioner will push it to 6 inches, but then the retraction process, regardless of the mode that you're using here, will back up to 12 inches to allow for other operations. Now we're very focused on safety in our workflows and with any material positioner, and we're working closely with our partners to ensure that PypeServer Lyte does not circumvent any default safety features on these devices. Now the last two items I want to discuss are small customizations to the display and security of PypeServer Lyte in version 1.3. Now, PypeServer has dozens of default columns in our data classes that may or may not be applicable to your cutting scenario. Because of this, we've added the ability to customize the names of the columns you see in our main data table for cut items. In our settings menu, click Display Settings, and then under Column Names, click Customize. Now here you can utilize existing PypeServer properties and give them friendly names that apply better to your scenario. And finally, we've added password protection security to our settings menu. There are many items in here that can be customized and finalized during the initial setup, and we want to prevent them from being changed. To set your administrator password, click the Open Padlock icon in the bottom left. Enter a new administrator password, preview if you'd like, and click Lock. Now at this point, all of your important settings, especially material positioner settings, are locked but available to be viewed for reference. Now to unlock your settings, click on the closed padlock icon, enter in the administrator password, and click Unlock. Now that it's been unlocked and I make a couple changes, I don't need to lock it again before I leave this menu. I can just close this menu, and the next time I come in, it's already locked. And if your administrator wants to remove this password, you can unlock it with the original password. Click on the unlock icon one more time and remove the password. So that's PypeServer Lyte version 1.3. We're actively developing new features and integrating with new partners. If you have any questions about PypeServer products or you'd like to start a trial of PypeServer Lyte, reach out to PypeServer at support@pipeserver.com and we'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching.